Okay, folks, welcome to this continuation of last Blitzkrieg. I'm now at the start of the 19th of December, turn 4, halfway through this scenario. It's a big one. It's taken me a while as well, lots of other things going on. So the very start, the Germans have the initiative. What has been happening over the last turn? You can see 116th have sort of swung around the back there. I think I covered that in a previous video. Panzer have moved into this area using this primary road here, and we've got the 2nd Panzer along the top here, 26 Volks Grenadier. They're not mixing, they're down south of them in this area. So I'm trying to have some more defined boundaries to avoid sort of coordination issues. Then we've got 560th way up in the north off camera. I mentioned in the last video 5th Volkslinie racing ahead. I covered 10th Armoured. A lot of activity down here towards the end of the turn. This 10th Armoured attack in particular. So they came on the board. They suffered a partial activation in their first activation, but a full in their second, and they punched into, basically, 352nd Volks Grenadier across Diekirch. So they've crossed back over the Suhr River, and they've pushed their headquarters back. Kind of caught 352nd by surprise. They really hit hard. They've got relatively low ARs, 333, but, well, 352nd just weren't prepared for this. They weren't in good defensive positions, and yeah, got pushed right back. So this is kind of threatening the whole German position. We do have some fresh German reinforcements coming on the far right. I think they're going to have to rush down to this area. I'm not going to stop with the 5th Volkslinie. They're going to keep rushing to the west to hold Martelange. We can also push out the 276. This has been a bit of back and forth here. 4th Division kind of counterattacked. You'll note around here they kind of came close. 276th counterattacked and pushed the infantry back. They didn't get a chance to attack Echternut. Although I forgot to do isolation for them, and I've just remembered because they're only down to 2 steps. So with isolation for that 4th Infantry Division, where is it? Here it is. Isolation. They don't have a safe path. Yes, the headquarters there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they are in command radius. So, in command radius, no SR, they lose 1 step. Yeah, I thought that might have been the case. And more bridges open. And we're ready to go. And I think I'd like to start off around Bastogne. I kind of want to see if 116th Panzers, they can capture it. They're right on the outskirts. They've got their infantry set up and ready to go. We've got 2 options here. We could send our hard AV in, or we can send our infantry with support. If it's hard AV, it's going to be shock combat. This will be +1, +2, +3. If it's regular, it'll be +2, +3, +3. So it doesn't really matter who attacks. They're both going to get the same odds. It's a city as well. If they preface this with an attack by fire, they'll only hit on a 6. There are 2 units stacked there as well. And it's a city hex, so this will be some pretty. It's going to be a tough nut to crack. I may be best served just trying to surround it, coming down around and cutting them off from the headquarters to kind of force that attrition isolation. I'm right on the edge of the map too, so I've got to be mindful of that. This is where the 2 hexes meet. There is a half hex over here. I'm sure that's in play as well. I bumped the maps at some stage too. There we go. Okay, so yeah, let's activate the 116th and see if they can get something done out in this area. So we'll start. We'll do their. So weather for this turn as well. It is mud, poor atmosphere, but good visibility. So I rolled mud freeze, and before 23rd of December, this is mud. I rolled, because of mud, I then rolled poor atmosphere, and because I rolled poor atmosphere, I rolled a 1, that's right, for visibility, which was any visibility. But with that poor atmosphere, I think I rolled a 5 again for no allied air points. Okay, so we're going to try and activate the 116th with their snafu roll. I've placed sort of reinforcements in their entry hexes. I think it's just the Germans get reinforcements on this turn. So rolling for snafu. That's not a good one. It is 5. Here's the headquarters here. There's no coordination, no fatigue. Game specific is +1. No, it's +0 now for the Germans. So this is going to be a partial activation. They do have, where is their train? Up here, so they have optimal distance. So it'll be up to 6, but no other bonuses to push up to 7. So just a partial activation, and yeah, they're going to put it in Bastogne, right there. But as I said, I think I'm going to try and surround Bastogne. So we'll get our first attack going from here to here, because that is these airborne units down here, they're not double stacked. This is a single unit here, and they're down to 1 step, and they're in the open. So maybe I just want to throw some artillery in there and see what happens. It's going to be a 3 to 6. No, they're in a prepared defense now, so it'll be 4 to 6. That's a 50% chance that I won't have to worry about combat, and that'll free these guys up to maybe attack further to the south down here. These gliders who also took some hits earlier. But if that roll fails, I can't draw on artillery for suppression support. So I'm gonna use it for suppression rather than just an artillery barrage, destruction barrage. So we will have an attack. Here comes the combat roll. It is a very good one. 11 plus 4 AR is 15. 16, 17 for suppression, 18 for assistance. Minus the defenders, who have 5, brings it down to 13. 13, 2 combat units, 12. City Hex, 10. Yeah, support as well. Okay, so they now have limited support. 9. Yeah. So that they were reinforcing support this turn, which gives me an A1 result. And a situational retreat. Now they're in prepared defense, so they will just take... Actually, they're not in terrain. My mistake, it's clear. So it's actually a 10. 11 actually, so it's a D1 retreat. So they take the step. I'll go through that again. I rolled 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, minus 5 is 13, 12, there's only 1 combat unit, 12, Yeah, it's a 12, so it's a D1. They're eliminated, and they can advance. For a moment, I got confused. I thought I was attacking Bastogne. Okay, so we're going to try, and this is the plan, to try and wrap a ring around Bastogne. Problem is, I've only got 3 days to do it. These guys are weak, I know. Yeah, that attack was down here. I got confused because I think I originally thought I was going to attack there, then I planned to attack down here. So now we'll get now we'll get these guys to come down. Movement costs clear. Attack is 2, so 1, 2. They only get half movement. And we need to disengage their support. So we've got limited support here, and I need to do a. No, it's not real. So it's not a mandatory stopping engagement. I think it's just a stopping engagement to drop this support from these units. I don't do this very often, so I'm a bit rusty. So this will be my AV, which is 5, versus their AV, which is... They're combined, sorry, it'd be 5 plus 3 is 8 versus my 10. Like I've got this good reconnaissance unit here. So the Germans get a +2 modifier. But the target has a prepared defense, so it's 1 modifier. Yeah, so it's a +1 modifier, targeting support. And they roll a 7, +1 is 8. The target has temporarily dropped support. So we'll grab a temporarily dropped marker, put it there. So that's a half movement, and then we go 1, 2 out here. So my understanding, and this is where I could be doing something wrong, they've moved into an AV zone of control, but by dropping that support via engagement, they can keep moving. They're not stopped by the infantry zone of control. That's my understanding. Could be wrong there. So I'm not 100% confident, but that's what I think I can do. So half movement and then 2.5 out here. They're within their half movement allowance for the partial activation. They're within 2 of this objective. And what will they do here? I think shock combat, because they're a good unit for shock combat. So they've already done 1. They did have that engagement, which is a fire event. Shock combat also requires a fire event, so that will have to be their second, so they can't preface this with an attack by fire. They will, however, draw on artillery for support, and this will be my second artillery point out of 5, so I've got plenty for 116th Panzer. Okay, so rolling for shock combat artillery, but no preface by fire. A 6, all right, +5 is 11. It's a dual unit, so 12, 13 for artillery, 13, that's all I got, 13. All right, the defenders now. Hey Lynn, thank you. Good to have you. 13 minus 4 is 9. Prepared defense is 8. 8 in the clear is an 8, which is an A1, situational retreat. So that valuable unit takes a step loss. They are in a prepared defense. Oh no, they are in terrain. They're not in the clear. So it's down to a 7, which is still an A1 situational. So they won't retreat because they're in prepared defence, so they'll stand their ground. And now we have the... So I've got a couple of options here. I know I've got infantry here. I could bring... I've got a partial. Partial is halved, of course. You mentioned that in the post, sorry, Lynn. So I've only got 2 artillery. I'm going to assume rounded down because it's 5. As I flick through quickly to find the activation sequence. Snafu, fatigue, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, place. Oh, well. I have used 2 artillery points already, which doesn't allow me a third for, well, or does it? I'm just checking snafus. Partial. Snafu. It's the one index point not easy to find. Yes, round down, Lynn's saying. Okay, so that doesn't leave me with any artillery. So in that case, it's probably best to do a shock combat because it relies less on artillery support. I can, geez, they're down to 1 step. All right, let's have a go, I guess. So we'll get that up. Oh, that's going to be, yeah, okay. That'll give us an extra modifier at least. Let's give it a go. So shock combat, prefacing this with an attack by fire. This is an attack by fire in a city hex. So only a 6 will cause a hit. It's a 2, so no result. Shock combat is okay. It's an 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. No artillery, so it's just 13, 14, minus 5 is 8. It's already looking good. 7, 6, 5, 4. That's not a good attack. They're dead. It's a big, heavy German loss too. Yeah, a roll of 8 was brought down to an A2 result. I think it's better to have the infantry attack. Or surround. I think I'll stick with the surrounding plan. It seems to be better. All right, so we've got these guys here. I'm pretty sure they're in, that's a forest hex. Yeah, it is. Which is terrain. Which means attack by fire will hit on a 5 or 6. But of course, there's that new support there. So I need to drop that before I do anything. What are my other options here? I could do... oh no, that's been dropped. Yeah, dropped in there. I could do... It's hard to see this, but I could do an attack from this infantry here into that hex with support. Probably decent chance of getting that done. That's Panzer, can't confuse those. I've got 2 guys left here. 116th, I'm going to bring in these guys from up the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the truck. 1, 2, 3 and a half, 4 and a half, 5 and a half, I'll stop there, just to keep this formation together. Leaves me with these two guys. And what I'm thinking is an attack with the infantry with support, resistance from those guys. I'm just going to check that the assist unit must be attack capable. Okay, or have an AV showing. Yeah, so they can assist. Yeah, they've got an AV 4. What I could, I know they're in terrain. I was kind of thinking, because they've got a range of 2, I was thinking I could back up maybe and take a long range engagement shot, but no, can't do that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to do a regular combat. Well, I could do, look, I could do attack by fire with these guys. I may as well. That will, so they do 2 attack by fires. They'll be stopped but not finished, I think. They can still assist once they've stopped. Okay, so this these guys here, 1st, 16th, will do 2. No, first of all, sorry, we'll drop the support. Attempt to drop the support. They've got 8 versus 5, 6, 7, 8, so it's even. Other modifiers are prepared defense. So it's a -1 modifier. They roll an 8, reduced to 7. The target is dropped, so we've got another temporarily dropped support in this stack, which is kind of good for the Germans. Then they'll do an attack by fire. Now, I think there are 2 units there, so they'll do red dice on top. Prepared defense in terrain needing a 5 or 6 to hit. Nothing. And now that I think about it, because I'm out of artillery, it may actually be, well, I can't do it anymore because I've dropped support. Yeah. Regular attack with this infantry into here with assistance from this armoured unit up in the north. Here we go. It's a 12. Okay, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No artillery support. 16, 17 with assistance. -17. -5 is 12. 11 for prepared defense. 10 because there's 2 units. 10, 9 because they're in terrain hex. That's a 9, which gives me an A1 result. And a situational retreat, which means that these guys will take a step loss. They're down to 2 steps. We're grinding them down. And that's the end of their first activation. Because they engaged in combat sequence, it's a 1 to 3 fatigue, no fatigue with a 5. They'll attempt a second activation with 4 or more. Yes, so they'll get a second activation, and their snafu for that second activation is a 6. Okay, this is one better than last time. So if my estimates are correct, I'll get a full activation. So 6. Game specific is 0 for this turn. 6. Optimal distance is 7. No ghosted, not crossing streams. That's a 7. They get a double activation, which is nice. It's what they need. All right, so I should clean that up. And I've also misplaced my other objective marker. Here it is, under the camera. Okay. So, I think once again, put it right on Bastogne. Because it covers 2 hex radius, it covers a lot of this area right around here. That hex, that hex, that hex, that hex, potentially this hex if they need to. And I think we'll... All right, so 5 artillery points here. Lynn, sorry, I missed your comment. General tactics, shock attack, maximum modifier is +1, ADF +2, 1 unit type breakthrough. +1, I'm not sure what, oh, plus the artillery. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes, all viable for combat. Bastogne has got to be the most important, so I might just do that first. We'll put these over to movement side. 1, 2, yeah, they can all make it in. This might be able to get some support down here as well for these guys attacking. So these guys are pretty fresh. 6 steps. So 1, 2, 3 into there. Actually, sorry, before I do that, once again, I want to drop the support of... I want to drop the support of these tank destroyers for this defense. And to do that, there's a couple of ways I could do it. But I'm thinking bring the armor around. So I can go 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. An attempt to drop the support. It's going to be a -1 modifier with all the things added up. A roll of 8 will drop the support. So once again, we have temporarily dropped the support of those defenders. That's good. And that enables us to then, well, it reduces their modifier, defense modifier, because he cancels their AV zone of control as well. So 1, 2, 3, 2.5, 3.5 into there. And I'm going to attack into Bastogne with this unit on top, with the unit below assisting, with artillery suppression. Let's see how we go. Big roll, really big roll needed. An 8 is not good enough. That's going to be 8 plus 4, 5, 6 for artillery. 8, 12 with the unit, 13, 14, 15 with assistance. Double objective zone now. 15, 16. Okay. 16. Subtracting the defender 5 is 11. 10 for their prepared defense. 9 because they have 2 combat units. 9, 7 because they're in a city. Ouch. Is A1. So attack of 1, they're down to 5. Situational retreat. Now, of course, prepared defense. Even if they weren't, I should point out as well, even if they weren't in a prepared defense, this is a city hex, which is what's referred to as key terrain. Did I have a step marker on these guys? Were they full strength? I thought they had lost some steps. Did I drop it somewhere? This is where the casualty sheets would be easier than these counters, because I feel like I've made a mistake here. I thought that infantry, the airborne, were down a few steps. I certainly attacked last time, didn't I? Let me quickly double check. I'll take a pause for a couple of seconds and I'll be right back. No, my mistake. I thought I'd previously attacked that unit in Bastogne. I hadn't. So that's their first step. So they've got 4 steps defending in Bastogne, just into that top unit, plus the engineers. So it's really it's an even greater incentive to focus on the surrounding strategy, I guess. So with that in mind, I'll attack here and try and surround and employ that strategy. It's hard. It's just a slow grind to attack into Bastogne. So yeah, instead we'll attack here. This is glider infantry. This is the 1st 401st out in the open, getting attacked by the 116th Panzer infantry. Using artillery with assistance and a bad roll. This is, yeah, okay. So 4 plus 4 is 8. Double objective zone 9, 10, 11, 12. Minus their support 12, 8, 7, 6. Okay, could have been worse. I think it's a 6, so they're down to 3. A1 result, basically. With that having failed, I'll try and attack. These guys are the ones that are low. They're the ones that I took the hit from, but they've got more infantry below them. All right. 1, 2, 3. Put them on top because they're my big, hard-hitting dual reconnaissance unit. And they can set up extra objectives too. I haven't done that at all that I can recall, but they can do it. One of those little rules to be mindful of. These reconnaissance unit can set extra objectives midway through the formation activation. They're not doing it right now because they're okay with where they are. So let's get an attack with how many steps are left here? 2 steps left. They are in terrain. All right, let's get an attack going on these guys. It's a bad roll. It's a 6. I should have prefaced this by an attack by fire, but in fact, let's do that because I should have done it if I thought about it. It's a roll of 6, I remember that, but the attack by fire is a 2, so that misses. All right, shock combat, roll of 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for the objective zone, 13 for the suppression, 14 for the attack by fire. So they can't draw on that support, of course. So 14 minus 4 is 10, 9, 8 for terrain is an A1 situational. So not much progress being made. It's just a grind. And of course, that infantry that I brought up doesn't support shock combat. Yeah. And that's it for the 116th Panzer. I'll roll for fatigue. They are okay again with a 6, which means they are done. That was a big first activation. Now the Americans can choose what they want to do. And well, I've got 110th, 28th just sort of hanging out down here. They retreated a long way. I'm just looking at the 101st Airborne Defences and wondering if there's anything there I need to do. It's always good to have sort of 2 infantry. It helps with their defence. So I've got 2 infantry there, 2 there, 2 here. These guys are both at 1. But these guys are blocking this valuable road here. Okay, so 160 are done. So let's Do I try and push the Germans back? I think that's push them off the flanks. I think that's what I'll do. So I'll activate the 101st and make it a snafu roll. It is a 7. American turn specific snafu roll is still -1, so it's down to a 6. They are fatigue 0. The best I can do is partial because they're in prepared defense. And there are penalties for attacking whilst in a prepared defense. So I need to keep that in mind as well. But what I want to do is we're going to give room over here for the 101st, 110th, 28th to just fill this little area here. No, I almost did, Lynn. I almost added assist to shock combat, but I didn't. I brought the infantry down to assist, and then I recalled, of course, that they couldn't do it, so they didn't actually assist. So they can only move 2 spaces. 1, 2. I don't know if I want to do that. 1, 2. They'll pull back there. I think these guys will move in. 1, 2. So we get the glider infantry stacked together, holding that important hex south of Bastogne. This is difficult terrain to hold. Bastogne is very strong. This is open terrain just south of it. So yeah, stacking some infantry up, and hopefully letting 110th, 28th come down and hold this wooded hex here. Yeah, and that support, of course, is back. I am kind of tempted to counterattack here. I did have an uncommitted infantry battalion. I could conduct a regular attack. I just didn't like my chances. I've attacked, I think I've attacked every location once at least. Can you attack a location that's already being attacked by shock combat? That'd be a question, I guess. I haven't been. But they would have been without assistance. So yeah, deliberating now whether or not to counterattack and try and push the Germans back away from that western edge of Bastogne. They're pretty low, and these guys are pretty strong with 5 steps. It's a pretty evenly matched contest. This is also out in the open terrain. 101st Airborne has a lot of artillery, which is halved, so they're down to 2. But they also have a modifier for attacking whilst in a prepared defense. Let's give it a go, because what's the worst that can happen? They lose a step, and they've got plenty of steps anyway. So we're going to have a combat here, attacking, assistance underneath them, the glider infantry here, rolling a 7 with modifiers. So +4 is 11. Oh, sorry, I should point out their objective is here. 11, 12, 13, 14, -4 is 10, 10, 9, so there are 2 units there. That's it. 9 gives me an A1, which is no loss because they're not on a prepared defense, and a situational retreat. So it's a pretty good result for the Americans. Oh wait, they are in a prepared defense. That brings it down to 8. So it is an A1. Almost forgot that prepared defense modifier. All right, so they suffer a step loss. And a situational retreat. Well, they're not in a prepared defense, so they must retreat. They're both leg units, so they have to retreat back to, that's a long way to go, and that really undoes a lot of their hard work around there. So Lynn's noting 1 regular attack per hex, but as many shock attacks on one hexes I can manage. Okay, that's good to know. I've probably been a bit too conservative with shock combats. And of course, they advance, so that worked out well, despite those negative modifiers. It's this open terrain, back and forth through open terrain, basically. Yeah, especially when the Germans don't have prepared defense. And okay, that's one attack. And I've used one artillery point. I think I might send another artillery point out here into this hex. They're not hard units, they're not in prepared defense, they're out in the open. So this will be hitting on a 3 or more. Yeah, okay, this is my second artillery point, targeting this space. You roll dice for each unit in the hex. Yep, 2 hits. So they are down to 3, and they take a hit, and are now down to 5. That's my 2 artillery points spent. Keep in mind it's halved because of the partial activation. I don't think there's any other attacks I want to do here. I'm pretty happy with my defences. They're occupying key terrain, not key terrain. Oh, situational, that's right. So Lynn's pointing out situational retreat is different to the automatic retreat. It's just back 3. 1, 2, 3. And flipped to their move sides. Okay, that's it. So they'll roll for fatigue. Nope. And I should have flipped that over earlier. Do they want a secondary activation? I kind of... I don't like this position here, to be honest. Out in the open, it's basically ripe for just another German attack. So I'm thinking if I get a second activation, I can move into here, but it's a lot of effort just for that movement. Having said that, there are more Germans out in the open here, and they could be subject to further destructive bombardments. Nah, look, I'll hold it there. So no second activation by choice for the 101st Airborne. Keep in mind, 116th Panzer are done for this day. They won't activate again. So there'll be no counterattacks coming in this area, at least, for the rest of the day. So I'll flip over to the Germans. And I can see Panzerlehr in this area. Oh, by the way, something I didn't cover in the report was this walloping that the 2nd Panzer inflicted out at Clairvaux. Smashed through Allied defences, captured Clairvaux quite easily at the end of the 18th. They had activated kind of midway through the turn, but just a series of rolling, really good attacks basically around this area, clearing out the infantry, and yeah, capturing the town. Without the headquarters, they were in a lot of trouble. You may recall their headquarters were forced back, and so yeah, they were smashed. Which frees up 2nd Panzer here. And you can see they've occupied this kind of central area along this road. Who is important here? These are some of the really interesting decisions that you make. Who to activate next? And just a reminder, so the rules as written state that you can choose whatever formation you want to activate. There's also optional rules for chit draw or a variable chit draw mechanism based on what side has the most activations. But so chit draw will make some sort of chaos and randomness. The idea that you're choosing here gives you some very interesting decision points, because I've got Panzerlehr here. They're in this area. They've got red support. They've got their reconnaissance, their armour right on the doorstep. I could have another few goes at Bastogne. It's not looking likely to be relieved by anyone. 5th Volksjäger are in a good position down here, but they're not in a prepared defence. It'd be nice maybe to get them into prepared defence. They just want to block this primary road to stop CCB down here coming up. Then I've mentioned this 10th Armoured counterattack. I got to worry about that. So you're kind of like, you're thinking, and there's a lot of German formations to activate as well. You're thinking, what do I want to activate next? What's the priority? So I'm kind of tossing up, is this American counterattack enough of a threat to warrant an activation out here immediately? Or is the potential for Panzer, I mean, can this wait? To be honest, I think this can probably, as much as I really want to keep driving, this can probably wait. Did any 110th, 28th ID? Yeah, they did. So they'll force off map basically, and they've come on as reinforcements this turn. This is them down here. They've got 2 steps and 3 steps. Yeah, that's it. A lot of units eliminated. Yeah, so they had no safe path. They retreated. That happened a while ago. So yeah, I think this can wait. I really want to get that done, but kind of need to deal with this difficult situation way down south here, where 10th Armoured is giving the Germans some grief. And 352nd has found themselves kind of split. They've got a hold on Edelbrook. I don't know what to do here. This is going to be an interesting problem to deal with, because I want to hold Edelbrook. I want to recapture Dekirk. I don't want them to push any further. If they were behind this river, that'd be okay, but they've pushed straight over. And 352nd aren't in a great position to do much. 276 can't really help. They're kind of really spread out. Yeah, that headquarters is now in a very awkward position. They could try to counterattack. 4 steps, 8 steps, 9 steps among these armoured formations. They're not great ARs, but so many steps that it's going to be a kind of, it could turn into this slugging match, just trying to push them back. So I need to hold Edelbrook. Can I bring the headquarters maybe around to this new road here and stop and kind of block them in there? If the problem here is, if I shift 352nd, there's units all the way down here. If I try and shift them all the way around here and block here, it opens this gap here for the Americans. So maybe what I'm leaning towards is bringing on my new reinforcements somewhere way up in the top right there, seeing how far they can get before I activate the 352nd. Although there's this gap here. I mean, 10th Armoured could just get really right behind the German lines. I don't know if I can risk. I don't know if I can risk that. Yeah, I think I've got to activate 352nd to stop this immediately. I don't think they'll be doing a lot. Let's see what their snafu roll is, because their headquarters was jumped. They've got coordination issues. They roll a 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 7, 8, 9. 7, 6, 5. 6, for optimal distance, and that's about it. So it's a partial activation, which halves movement. So I've got to get this infantry. 1, 2, blocking that road. They're kind of a bit of a temporary roadblock, hoping just to slow down the Americans if they try to push through there. They do have red support, which is important. They create AV zone of controls around all their infantry units. I'm going to have to move the headquarters. Okay, they're a leg unit, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll push them up the road, so they're within range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. 6 to there. These guys will hold their ground. I will move my combat trains up here, holding that road. These guys are in a bit of a difficult position here, so they now need to do something. And of course, 10th Armoured has their limited support, their tank destroyers, which provides AV zones control as well. I'm in trouble, basically. There's this road through here, and yeah, what do I do? Half movement. What I'm really hoping for is a second activation. Look, I'll move these guys. 1, that's not a bridge. It's going to be 2 movement points just to get there, and I think these guys will follow up as well. So if I move this way, it's 1.5, and then I'd have to spend, I think, the river crossing costs, which are +2 to get across there. Yeah, okay, they'll stop there. And they're really hoping for a second activation. So no objectives, so no fatigue. Really, they're hoping for a second activation, needing a 5 or more. They got a 4, so no second activation, unfortunately. And what this does is it opens this road here. I mean, I don't know. Yes, there's an opportunity for the Americans to kind of push through and get behind the German lines, but to what effect? What will that achieve? Harassing combat trains. How far could they even get? It's a bit. They'd have to. Okay, first of all, that road is not connected, so this infantry wouldn't get very far. I think I like the idea just of, I mean, it's 4 steps here, 4 steps there. If I can keep driving towards their headquarters along this primary road, that'd really threaten even more of their southern flank. Rather than driving out this way, across the Ur, if I can drive along here, it's, yeah, going to scare the Germans even more. So I think hitting here and here, let's see what their snafu roll is first. So I'm going to activate 10th Armoured. And snafu roll is a 7. Unfortunately, they're fatigued, so it's 5. Optimal distance is 6. Game specific is -1, back down to 5. So that's a partial activation anyway. And yeah, I think I want to hit this particular unit here to cut that line to Edelbrook, just to undermine that German hold on that Victory Point hex city, basically. Okay, so a couple of options here. How am I going to get this combat done? I'm going to flip this guy over. We'll march up the road one. I got half movement. They will. I kind of want to wipe them out, so I'll do an attack by fire first. It's in an open hex, so attack by fire will hit on a 4 to 6. That's a 2, so that's not a hit. And then we'll do. Actually, this is a dual unit, so they can do a regular attack, which they will with artillery support. They've got very low ARs. That's the problem. Let's see how we go anyway. It's a 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. -3 is 7. And that's it, I think. So a 7 gives an A1 result. 8 steps among those guys. They can just keep attacking all day. And a situational retreat. So 1, 2, 3. And they'll advance. Unfortunately, that's the only unit within range of that objective marker, so I can certainly bring up the rest of these units. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Let the Germans know we're right here. These guys. One, two, three. It's half movement points. Sorry, half movement. And I think that's it. That's all we're going to do. Actually, this infantry out here is holding a village, so they'll hold that. I don't think I actually ever rolled for that, so let me roll for it. It's blown. I missed the little dynamite marker there. Okay, so not a great deal happening there with the 10th Armoured counterattack, but let's see if they get a second. First of all, fatigue. They are fatigued. That goes up to 3, which is not what they want. They've just come on and they're already almost exhausted. And let's see if they get a second activation needing a 5 or more. They don't, so they're done. That's disappointing for the Americans. This was a good opportunity for them here to push the Germans back. Over to the Germans. And, oh sorry, I forgot isolation out here. So these guys, did they have a safe path? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they go use their regular movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, they could. They could get a safe path. So safe path, out of command radius, but with no MSR block, they suffer 1 step each. So they're down to 1. They lose their first step and they're down to 5. They're trying to make it back. It's just such a long way to go since the Americans kind of cut straight through that formation. And the Germans really want to hold Edelbrook. Okay. That's the kind of American threat done for this turn for the Germans. So with the 10th Armoured kind of contained, Germans aren't too worried about much else. 109th, 28th still in this area. CCA 9th Armoured down here. They couldn't can't do a great deal. Famous last words. I'm not too worried about them. So I think what I really want to do is attack Bastogne, right? That's what every German player wants to do. So here we go. Let's activate Panzerlehr. They are here. They have 4 artillery. They have 0 fatigue. They have red support. They want a good snafu. They don't want to roll a 5, which is what they did. 5. It's going to be at best a 6 if I can find their combat trains. Here it is. Optimal distance but ghosted. So it's a partial activation. Gives them 1 objective. And that will let them attack here. And if they get lucky here, they can attack here, 2 hex zone. They could attack Bastogne. If they get lucky. I think they need to get very lucky to do that. Headquarters is here. Where else are they? Oh, we've still got these guys, CCR 9, being a pain in the backside up here. I completely forgot about them actually, when I moved out of Hoffelays. So maybe I'm going to send up my infantry to 1, 2 to defend Hoffelays. I guess going to move up there. I know they can make it. This is a city, so one 5-step infantry battalion should be able to hold it because it's key terrain. They'll take step losses rather than retreating. Where else have we got Panzerlehr? Second Panzer, that's okay. These guys, okay, so they've been pushing through. You can see Pioneers here, mechanized infantry there. So whenever you move into this reconnaissance unit area, they retreat, but they're kind of surrounded now. So which way do they retreat to? Particularly, partial, so half movement as well. Got to remember that. The infantry here can go 1, 2. This is, keep in mind, infantry, the deployed infantry, so they're not affected by this reconnaissance unit. The headquarters have to retreat 3 towards their combat train. I don't even know where their combat train is. It's long been forced off the map, and they have no MSR. So let's say towards their supply source. 1, 2, 3. Coordination issues. And these guys will just go, oh, here we go, we've got some, there's a unit there. A pretty vulnerable unit. Do I bother? I can't attack it because it's not in an objective area. I don't know what to do about that. It's kind of just hanging out in the woods, trying not to suffer too much attrition. I don't know how they're there. Get to them later anyway. For now, we're attacking Bastogne, so need these guys to focus. And whilst half movement, okay, they do have trucks. These guys will just go 1, 2 and protect their headquarters just in case these guys get any ideas. These guys will flip over. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 3. Actually, before they do that, I'm going to drop some support from this. This is going to be my target. Oops. If I can get these 5 or 6 guys out of this area, it would help me a lot. So we're going to try and drop their support first of all. They are in a prepared defense, so it's a -1 modifier. I've got 9. They have got 8, so it's net 0. God, I rolled a 3, which is a fire loss and traffic. That hurts. And this is one instance where I actually could have backed up. Oh no, because they're in terrain again. All right, that's one engagement. I guess I'll try again. So second roll. A 7 is a target drop. So yet again, the tank destroyer is forced away. This has been happening a lot. And that's their 2 fire activities. But this is a dual unit. So they've used their 2 fire activities. They are stopped. I think they can still participate in a regular attack. So they will draw now on this infantry support. They'll rush around there. Dual unit will lead the charge. This is interesting. I don't think I've been this active with a dual unit before. Yeah, support dropped. Now a regular attack on that hex. Yeah, hey IDJ. I was super fast. I saw yours the other day, your unboxing, and yeah, I was just thinking it's going to take forever to reach Australia, and then because it was stopped somewhere for clearance checking or something or other. I thought this is going to take months to arrive, and then it just arrived today. It's amazing. So super fast shipping from GMT. And I've already ripped the shrink on a couple of games to check the components. Imperial Struggle and Orbridge is burning, and they look amazing. So doing a regular attack here. Partial activation. So half artillery, got to keep that in mind. Here we go. Oh God, it's a 5 plus 5 is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Minus 5 is 9, 8, 7, 6 is an A1 result. That brings them down to 4. And that's it. So, geez, this is just a tough grind. In this scenario, yeah, the Germans just can't move beyond Bastogne. This is the edge of the map here. They can't move beyond. They've got it. That's their objective. They've got to take Bastogne. I think we're done for Panzer. So they roll for fatigue. They are not fatigued. They roll for a second activation, needing a 4 or more. They roll a 3, so they fail and they're not fresh. So they are done. It's tough to be a German in the Ardennes. And that support is no longer dropped. So, geez, it is, it's tough. It's tough. 2 steps, but then there's more. There's another 5-step unit below them. I don't think they're not going to eliminate these Americans. They're not going to reduce them to 0 steps. They need to gain ground. Another thing I could have done, another crazy option, is to drop support, push through. But then I'll find myself kind of in a difficult position. I need to push these Americans. If I can push them back from this hex, gets me a bit closer to Bastogne. Yeah, okay. It's getting pretty late. I might wrap it up there for now. So we've still got Second Panzer to go, but they've also got roadblocks in the way. They've got some pretty tough. This is 2 more. They're engineers, but this is a 5-step elite American 1st 1st Battalion, 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment. Some engineers are sitting there blocking that road before we can even get to them. I was thinking 26 Volksgrenadier could come along this path along here to hit from the south, but there now there's Germans breaking through. I think the next thing the Germans are going to do is bring on these reinforcements way up here somewhere, and they're going to see how far they can get, see how many activations they can get, see how far they can move. And this is before, I mean, this is just a bit of a sideshow. It feels like it. The Germans have captured one objective here. This is the other one, which is looking increasingly out of their reach. At the end of the scenario, you count up German objectives, you subtract American held objectives to determine the winner and the loser. I don't know what the situation is right now. There's a lot, yeah, that requires some maths, and I've done enough for the night. So yeah, it feels like it hangs in balance. It feels like the Germans definitely need to surround Bastogne. I don't like their chances of just grinding the Americans down. I don't think that's going to work. And if they try to do that, basically what happened was that when they first reached Bastogne from the rear here, they attacked a couple of times. The Americans withdrew their glider infantry and sent in an elite airborne parachute infantry battalion. So this is where I'm saying they need to surround it first, and that'd accelerate that attrition. That would give them some problems, I think. Because, yeah, the main factor here is this is key terrain. And instead of retreating, they'll just take a step loss. So they'll take a step loss, take a step loss, take a step loss. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a long battle for Bastogne. A lot of other stuff going on elsewhere. Very happy with what the 5th Fallschirmjäger has done down here. Charged into Madelonge down here, which is another victory point objective. Very, very impressed with what 212th have done out here. These are very low rated infantry. And yeah, they did well to drive out here. Very disappointed with the 352nd and letting the 10th Armoured smash through there. They're meant to be holding this position. This is an important river, Diekirch, Edelbrook. And well, to be fair to the Germans, the Americans got some really good die rolls along this attack. But look, 10th Armoured, 3 fatigue. There's so much going on. There are so many little stories happening. Hey Blue, I'm just wrapping up. Just thinking there is so much going on with this game. Just so much detail. Even CCB 10 down the bottom here, they're on 2 fatigue already. You look here at 116th Panzer, they've got 0 fatigue, so they've got so much more punching potential, so much more hitting potential. 2nd Panzer, they're on 2. They've been fighting around Clairvaux. They're struggling a bit. Oh, that's right. So 212th, they're on 4 fatigue, so they don't get second activations. They're in a position now with 4 fatigue where they may want to just do some recovery activations. They hold their objective. They might want to shift in a little bit to contain the sort of 4th Infantry Division's counterattack. Maybe. Yeah, or recovery. There's 276 here yet to activate. This is all pretty stagnant along here, not much happening in their attack. They've got CCA 9th Armoured in a prepared defence. This is really tough to break through. There's also, I forgot about these guys, this is a reconnaissance unit which slows down movement through here. All the infantry is deployed anyway, so it's not of great consequence. That could probably be removed, and they probably will remove it to give CCA 9 some hitting power. And yeah, those reinforcements coming on up in the distance. And these are pretty good units. They're a long way away, but if I can just give you a sneak peek, they'll give the Germans... I thought they were good units. No, they're not. They're terrible units. I don't know what I was looking at. I was looking at that. Okay, there you go. They've got A1, the unit on top. Okay, they've got one good armoured unit. And then some of the weakest bicycle infantry I've seen. Oh, sorry, that's on their deployed side. When they're riding bicycles, they don't fight very well. When they jump off their bikes, they don't fight much better. I thought they were going to be stronger. I saw the support as well. I was like, oh, that's a hard support. And then some weak infantry. Yeah, not great. So they'll be coming on using their bicycles to get as far as they can towards this area down here. And they're fresh. So fingers crossed for a second activation. How far can they get from here? So they're coming in here. They'll be going using truck movement, which is the black movement rating. They can go along the primary road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In one activation, they can save the day and help 352nd with their 10th armoured issues with one full activation. I'm confident they can get it, but we'll do that tomorrow. Stay tuned, and yeah, I'll get to this tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for your help. Thanks, Lynn, in particular. Take care, and talk to you later.